How to Make Friends in College, a comprehensive guide. Written by Ranzan Peterson. Last updated 23 January 2020. Do you remember the first friend you knew? The first person I consciously remember calling my friend and later best friends was someone I meet in preschool. I was probably 4 years old. We had similar interests and complementary personalities. He was the big picture idea guy. I was the detail oriented doer. As we continued throughout life, my friendship have shifted. I've made new friends along the way. Depend my relationship with existing friends and fall out of touch with others. When you look at it this way, it seems like friendship is something that just happens. You can't control it, it would seem, and maybe it's better not to. After all, you can't force friendship. Yet, what I've come to realize in the past couple years is that while you can't force or manufacture friendship, you can seek and cultivate it. It isn't completely out of your control. In fact, science it's such an important part of living a happy life. It's something that you put on autopilot at your peril. Friendship is born at that moment when one person says to another, "What? You too? I thought I was the only one." C.S. Lewis. One of the best things about college is all the opportunities it gives you to start fresh. This is especially the case with friends. You are in a new place, surrounded by literally thousands of people you will never meet before. All of these people are potential friends. You just have to seek them out, which can be overwhelming. That's why I put this article together. I want to help you turn your feeling of overwhelm into a bank of opportunity and excitement at the insane number of opportunities you have to make new friends while in college. Whether it's your first semester or your final semester. This article will show you how to make new friends and deepen excellent friendships in college and beyond. Let's get friendly. Why you have the friends you do? Where did you make your first friend? For most people, the answer fits into one of two categories: you school and you neighborhood. What do these two areas have in common? They're where you spent most of your time as a kid. So the reason you had the friends you had was quite simply that you spent lots of time repeatedly interesting with them. Now there are some important caveats. I'm not saying that geography determines L. Shared interests and personality play a very important role as well. You have obviously drawn more to some people than others. Perhaps you admired how outgoing the other person was, while they were drawn to your calmness. Perhaps you both liked trading Pokemon cards or both preferred races over story time. Still, the influence of where you spend the most time and whom you spend it wish is strong. This continues later in life too. My best friends from high school were people that I know from the following places: marching band, honors classes, theater, other two of the above, or in some cases, L3. Once more, the case factor was spending lots of time together doing shared activities, activities that reflected least some sort of shared interest or value. People join matching band for lots of different reasons. For instance, but most of them are bound to share at least a couple of those reasons in common. This information can tell us a lot about how to actively make friends, and that's what we'll cover next. How to make friends with intention. If you go looking for a friend, you are going to find them very serious. If you go out to be a friend, you'll find them everywhere. Now that we covered why we have the friends we do, let's go out and find some. I know this may seem kind of weird. After all, friendship is one of those things society tells us should just happen naturally. Actively seeking friendship can seem unnatural. I think, however, that being intentional about your relationships is one of the keys to a happy life. Unlike your family, you have control over who your friends are. Is makes sense then to be deliberate in choosing friends. Actively seeking out friends means you're more likely to have people around you who energize you, make you laugh, and support you during difficult times. Now that we've established the importance of being intentional about who your friends, we can move on to the how part. I've broken this next part into three sections to make it easier to navigate and review later. Uh, so let's get to the first part, where to find friends. Part 1, 9 places to find friends in college. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people that you can in 2 years by training to get other people interested in you. Something that I struggled with in the past in way exactly. I should go to meet potential friends. This might seem obvious to some people, but if you are an introvert like me, it can be helpful to have defined list of places, as it takes some to the mystery and worry out of potential interactions. Even if you are a very social person, you may not have realized all the possible places that you can go to meet people in college. It's pretty ridiculous when you think about it, especially if you go to a larger school. So here are 9 places to find friends in college. This isn't a complete list, but it's a great place to get started. If you think of other places I missed, please share them in the comments. Campus events. Thomas is fond of saying that college is a lot like a 4-year TED or SXSW conference. Nowhere is clearer than in campus events. Here are just a few of the types of events that were common at my college. Guest speakers, karaoke nights, protest, charity 5 keys, free craft nights, classical music concerts, music festivals, TEDs, co-edition matches, them dances with free food, global normal socials. Campus events are a great place to meet people. They give you an automatic talking point, especially if it's something like a speaker, and they run the gamut of comfort levels for introverts and extroverts. Facebook has made it easier than ever to learn about these events. What's more, you can always check out the dozens of posters. Others link what's more, you can always check out the dozens of posters advertising them around campus. The real challenge is choosing which ones to go to, as there's likely something every night of the week. Bonus tip, many events, especially those with guest speakers, have receptions before or after. These are great places to strike up a conversation. Campus organizations. Campus organizations might be the best place to make friends. This is simply because there are so many of them, whether it's an intramural sport, a social course, a recreational activity, a musical pursuit, or a career aspiration. There's probably a club for it. Clubs have all the benefits of campus events with the added bonus that they meet regularly. This gives you a chance to have repeat in interactions with the some people, which is an important ingredient in farming friendships. Cavial, pick your campus organizations carefully. It's fine to try out a bunch of different clubs at the beginning of the semester. But it's better in the long run for both your social life and your stress levels to commit to two free clubs that you really enjoy and care about. It's also worth noting that some clubs are better for forming friendships than others. Clubs that are highly structured, such as a musical group or campus council, uh, often leave little room to actually talk and get to know each other. That's not to say you shouldn't join more structured clubs. I was in several musical groups throughout college, but it can make it a little trickier to make friends than less structured organizations such philosophy discussion groups or running club classes. There are 168 hours in a week, assuming that you spend 8 hours might getting excellent sleep. That leaves you with 112 working hours. You probably spend around 12 or 15 hours in class each week, which works out to uh, 10.71%, um, 13.39% of the time you evoke. This represents a great opportunity to make friends. As with clubs, some classes work better than you others for making friends. Classes that have labs or group projects, annoying as they may be, tend to work better since they give you more time to talk than a class that's just straight up lecturing. Uh, Classes also enjoy the obvious benefit of some sorts of shared interest or at least shared obligation if it's again at a required class. Your dorm. If you are not in class, then odds you are in your dorm, especially if it's your first year of college. The food may be gross and the doctor may look like it was lifted from down. But one thing dorms do have going for them is that they are a great place to make friends. Even it's just binding over shared adversity. Seriously, though, dorms are great because of all the spontaneous social interaction they invite. Whether it's hanging out in the common area doing homework, brushing your teeth in the community bedroom, or stringing an impromptu hallway nerve battle at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. It's a festal ground for friendships to develop. Of course, the bowels place in other living situations. Sharing a house with semi-random people was where I made some of my best friends in college. Even if you are renting an apartment off campus, you can still make an effort to get to know your neighbors. Informal hangouts. This is a pretty broad category, including everything from big house parties to dorm lounge smash tournaments. Uh, Often these begin with a casual text like where we should all hang out tonight. Where things go from there is anyone goes. What's great about informal hangouts is that they allow for lots of time to actually talk and get to know people. Okay, this may not be true if it's a well-to-well Fred party blaring Kenny, but you get the idea. They also well informal, so if things get awkward, it's easy to just leave. These sorts hangouts are also great for cultivating exiting friendships. More on that below. Around campus, people often overlook this, but if you keep on open mind, you can meet some really cool people this way. Basically, this is everywhere. That's not class. Some examples include the gym. If your boss work out, then that's clearly a shared interest. The student center, great for people watching, but also a nice place to strike up casual conversations. Waiting in the hall, whatever it's before class, a meeting with a professor or whatever. Walking around campus, obviously don't be creepy, but if you happen to be walking the same way as someone or to the some location, that's a nice conversation starter. This is probably on the more advanced level of making friends, as it requires you to initiate conversations with strangers. But it's a great way to overcome shyness and increase your confidence. Online, this can take different forms, but the most obvious is any Facebook groups associated with your class or school. I didn't do this tone myself, but I know people who make friends just wrote being active in the online. This can take different forms, but the most obvious is any Facebook groups associated with your class or school. I didn't do this on myself, but I know people who made friends just wrote being active in the class Facebook group before the semester even started. This is a great way to go if, like me, you come across more eloquently in writing than you do in person. Just don't be one of those people who spams the group. Not cool. Internships and research assistantships. We're big fans of internships here at College InfoGeek. Not only do they look great on resumes and give you real work experience to talk about in job interviews, but they're also a super way to make friends. For example, when I spent 7 weeks living on campus as a summer research assistant, I had the chance to make several new friends. The campus was nearly empty, and that made it feel a lot more manageable. I lived in a dorm with maybe 200 other students, and I ran into a lot of the some people while cooking dinner or doing laundry. Once again, this sort of experience provides a great common ground for conversations. Even things as simple as so what sort of research are you doing this summer? Or how did you find these internships? Can be the opening of meaningful relationship. Campus jobs. In the professional world, people often talk about having work friends, but this isn't something that requires you to have full-time jobs to take advantage of. Uh, Besides the time management and obvious monetary benefits. Campus jobs are a cool way to meet people. Uh, when I worked in the campus post office, for instance, I had the change to that with some several people 6 days a week. I'll admit I didn't use this opportunity as well as I could have, but looking back, it was an excellent place to meet people. This is an even better strategy if it's a job with a lot downtime, such as working reception. Uh, Having trouble remembering the names of all the new people you're meeting. Uh, this guide will help. Part 2. How to go from acquaintance to friend. Uh, Ultimately, the bond of all companionship, whether in marriage or in friendship, in conversation. Oscar Wilde. Oh, so you are gone out to some of the place above, and you are meet some people. Ideally, I we chosen a place where you can encounter some of you, some people over and over, in order to build rapport. Maybe you even exchanged phone numbers or added each other on Facebook. Now that you have these weak ties, to use a term from sociologist Marcus Grauninger, how to take the relationship to a deeper level? How do you go from acquaintance to friend? The answer it turns out is simple, not necessarily easy, but definitely simple. What's the secret? One on one time. Hanging out in a group is lots of fun, but it can be difficult to spend enough time talking with one person to really open up to each other and get beyond surface level conversation. The best way to go from acquaintance to friend uh, is to spend quality time talking and or doing an activity together. To make this easier, I suggest that you focus on culti- cultivating one or two relationships at a time. Going out and meeting lots of people is a good idea to keep your social skills. Harness and broaden your network, but when it comes to making friends, it's best to keep it small, especially if you're more introverted and find the social interaction draining. Like dating, it's also best to keep things casual at first. Message the person and suggest meeting for coffee or cheap lunch. These settings are great because they allow pressure and allow for a escape if the conversation gets stale. Or if you want more structure, then suggest an activity you both would enjoy, ideally one that's not too intense. That is going for a walk in a local park is probably better than suggest the two of you hike the Appalachian Trail. Tip: pick an activity where you can actually talk to each other. Eating a meal together is better than seeing a movie, for example. If things are going well, then you may be ready to talk things to the next level, which we'll cover in the following section. How to deep and cultivate friendships. A friend is a person with whom I may be sincere. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Let's say that you gone off to part 2 and you now would definitely call yourself as friends. How do you maintain this friendship? And how do you take it to a deeper place? Mounting the friendships is similar to the above section. Just keep in touch and do things together regularly. Pretty simple, though it can take some effort, especially when your life gets busy. As for depending friendship, the key in my experience and from people who are far more qualified is vulnerability. This video from the school or life sums up the concept nicely. When people complain about shallow conversations, they're usually getting at a deeper lack of vulnerability. They're getting at, as the video explains, people trying to seem impressive instead of revealing what they really like, how they really feel. Vulnerability isn't easy, as Bran Brown puts in her TED talk the power of vulnerability. In order for connection to happen, we have to allow ourselves to be seen, rather seen. This can be painful and risky, but also uh, tremendously rewarding. Have a look at this article as some practical ways to be more vulnerable. Bonus round, common question, and Musticalon's tips. Life is party what we make it, and party what is it's made be the friends we choose. Tennessee Williams. Before we wrap up, I want to address a couple common questions students have about friendships, as well as include some miscellaneous advice that didn't fit elsewhere in the article. How do I stay to lunch with my friends from high school when I'm in college? This is a tricky one, and it depends on your circumstance. If you go to college in the town where most of your high school friends still live, it's just a matter of meeting regularly. If forever you and your friends scattered across the country at different colleges, as it was for me, then you have to be more deliberate. My high school friends and I have always made a point of getting together during breaks to go to trivia, have parties, and even take summer road trips. And of course, text, call, and FaceTime regularly. That being said, you should also expect that you'll drift apart from some of your high school friends. People change a lot after high school. The gap between life stages widens, or is it less, more visibly than it was before a challenge? This can be uncomfortable, but it's bound to happen. Of the other hand, if you were unsatisfied with the friendships you had in high school. College is a great place to start fresh. Obviously, don't be a jerk, but don't feel like you have an obligation to remain friends with people just because you hung out with them in night school. Th- That's the sunk cost fallacy at work. None of my friends ever want to do anything. What should I do? Become the organizer, take an active role in planning things for all of you to do. It took me far too much of college to realize the power of this approach because generally it's not that your friends don't want to hang out. They're just in the same position as you, looking for someone to nudge them toward on activity. Don't be part of the inertia. Be the one who moves things along. Advice branch out from your initial friend group. Coming into college, it's normal to make friends with the first people you meet and click with. There nothing wrong with this. I'm still friends with some people I meet at my college orientation. Zano, but I would encourage you not to feel like those people are the only ones you can ever be friends with. Go to some of the places I suggested above and try to branch out. Join a new club. Take a class that's outside your area of expertise or strike up a conversation with a coworker. The result is likely to be a richer life and an expanded social circle. Get out and make some friends. Each friend represents a world in use, a world possibly not born until they arrive, and it is only by this meeting that a new world is born. A nice name. This article covered a lot of ground as with any kind of advice. However, it's useless if you don't apply it. At the end of the day, the best advice you can give for making friends is to make it a priority. Once you are to it, that mindset shift. Your job is to get out there and make it happen. So today, I'd like to challenge you to apply just one piece of advice from this article. Try looking in a new place for friends. Invite an accountable out for coffee. Practice vulnerability with an existing friend. If you take even one of these steps, you'll be on your way to a happier, more difficult life. Thank you much, my friend. Bye.